your kind of company.
Tonight on Ctv3 News, our orange economy is stimulated in Curacao through cell phone repair and cartoon animation trainings. Campo Williams responds to the leader of the opposition. He says there is more to the video showing a police officer pistol whipping a detainee. And how important are cooperatives to Belize and its economy? We'll tell you. These are some of the stories we have for you tonight in our newscast for Wednesday, July 10th, 2024.
Is split between Greens aligned with Alicent and Eganid section and Blacks who support Rainera in claiming the Iron Throne.
War is coming. And neither of us may win.
Pledge your allegiance. Watch House of Dragons Season 2 on Max.
Good evening. With your news, also simulcast on Fiesta FM 106.7. I am Joanna Rodriguez. We start off tonight's newscast with some positive news. A pilot project catering for our youths was launched in northern Belize today at the Ctv3 Curacao conference room. If you are interested in learning how to create cartoon animation or repair cell phones, then you should sign up for the sessions. The pilot project is being sponsored by the Office of the Prime Minister and the Ministry of Investment. Ctv3 News was there this morning, and Elmer Cornejo tells us more about how this move lines up with Plan Belize. Here is that report.
Together with funding from the Taiwanese mission, the Office of the Prime Minister and the Ministry of Investment are hosting a cell phone repair and animation training for young people 16 years and older in 3 districts: Curacao, Orange Walk, and Belize. Today, the opening ceremony for the project saw the participation of CEO in the Office of the Prime Minister, Narda Garcia, who was joined by the Director of the Investment, Policy and Compliance Unit, Lincoln Blake, and Thea Garcia Ramirez from the Curacao Economic Development Master Plan. With the pilot project set to commence in Curacao, today participants signed up for any of the 2 trainings being offered at no cost. The main objective of the initiative is to stimulate the orange economy, which is part of Plan Belize.
Our pilot project will be based in Curacao. We have a Curacao master plan that has been developed in 2019 by the IDB, and we have now a Curacao think tank that is ensuring that we have the full implementation of the plan, with certain adjustments to the original plan, of course. And what we have done is that we have focused on specific sectors which have high potential for the district of Curacao, and one being the BPO sector, which we're trying to move up the value chain. So that's why we're trying to instill skills such as animation, coding, computer repair, cell phone repair, etc. We included Orange Walk and Belize City because Orange Walk is also linked somewhere or the other to Curacao, and there's an easy flow of not only relationship between the 2 districts, but also the labor force, all right, and skill. In the case of Belize City, because we feel that Belize City would also project the importance of this project even more. We don't discriminate. We don't discriminate, and I think the facilities do allow people that require special infrastructure to come in and impart. If anyone that wants to apply, in the case of the animation, it's 6 days, all right. And in the case of the cell phone repair, which will start, I think, in late July, That one will be 30 days. We don't discriminate. We don't discriminate, and I think the facilities do allow people that require special infrastructure to come in and impart. If anyone that wants to apply, in the case of the animation, it's 6 days, all right. And in the case of the cell phone repair, which will start, I think, in late July, that one will be 30 days.
There is space for 15 participants for the cell phone training, which will only be carried out in Corazol and Orange Walk. On the other hand, 30 persons can sign up for the cartoon animation training, which will be done in the Corazol, Orange Walk, and Belize districts. Director of the Investment Policy and Compliance Unit says partnership is making the project possible.
Well, first of all, it's partnership. Partnership not only with the community of Corazol and the leaders within the communities, but also with the funding institutions such as the Taiwan Mission. I think it's very important. We also have other partner agencies such as Beltrade, which forms a part of the Ministry of Investment. And of course, we have other entities such as the persons imparting the skill development, which is, for example, we have Mr. Jevon that is giving the animation course, and we have Mr. Abisur from the nearby University of Chetumal in Mexico. That will also be imparting the training for cell phone repair.
Javan Sanker is a computer teacher from San Jose Socots who will be the main facilitator for the cartoon animation training. Sanker has been doing cartoon animation since 2018, and it's elated to be part of the pilot project.
This is just a wonderful opportunity to widen the scope of the reach of young people in the animation field. So this particular training is only for about a short period, about 2 weeks at most, but it will cover the basics, preparing these young people, young women mostly, to be able to become full-fledged animators in Belize. We're going to focus mainly on using a program that is free, so they won't have any problem accessing the program. It's called Blender, and we're going to train them on how to utilize that program to create different types of animation. So it could be 3D or 2D animation, because there's a difference between the different types of animation, right? So we're going to go through the basics and bring them up to the principles so that they can apply it on different types of animation. If you ever look at a movie production or an animated film, all right, Disney, DreamWorks, when the movie is finished, there's a whole long list. And that's just the amount of people that work on those films. But those films are million-dollar productions, right? And so we welcome the idea of more and more people getting on board, because this simply means that Belize can become more recognized for the work that we do. We have more talent to pool and to have more success in the international world as well now.
The training session marks a great opportunity for members of our younger generation, as it could lead them to become entrepreneurs.
I'm very happy to see the response, and we're getting in calls right now of people wanting to sign up. And so I'm very much encouraged. One of the big barriers to this type of training is that it's usually held in Belize City. It's very centralized, and so it's very nice to have it here in Corazol, because a lot of times we don't have the money to travel, or we don't have the time to travel, to go to the city. It's 3 hours to go, 3 hours to come back, and the time for the training, and then of course you have all your meals and your transport costs. And so it's, when we have these centralized trainings in the city, it's very hard, and it's certainly a barrier for our young people to go. Being able to work from home at your own pace during your own time certainly is a very big plus, and something that we want to encourage, and we want to have these kinds of trainings that are a bit high when it comes to increasing the revenue. Some of these cell phone repairs, as we've heard, are in the ranges of $200 and $250 per phone, and so it's a very it's a very skilled market, and so the pay is really nice. And also we've learned today that a short reel, animated reel, can start at $3,500.
I think it's a great opportunity, especially for the youth, and for the youth of Corozal, because we have a lot of areas that are not developed as yet, and I think it's a great opportunity, and I think more people should capitalize it, especially the unemployed.
You said you wanted to do both trainings.
Yeah, because both of them are free, and it's just 6 days, and 6 days for something that could be my livelihood potentially.
Elmer Cornejo, Ctv3 News.
On Monday, we told you about a case involving a police officer from San Pedro who was caught on camera kicking and pistol whipping an alleged suspect. Since then, there has been no official report on the matter coming out of the police department, but Sergeant Devon McKean said on social media that he believed he was doing what was best for his safety. Speaking out on the issue on Tuesday, the leader of the opposition called out the police department and particularly the commissioner of police for downplaying the matter, as he believes there should be immediate disciplinary action taken against the officer.
The disturbing video of police brutality, excessive use of force by an officer in San Pedro, and the deafening silence from the police department and the compol. I understand that the gentleman in the video is the compol's godson. I think Officer Mackin. I know his father. His father is a good officer, long-serving, senior police, retired, and these things are never personal. But we have a responsibility to correct behavior that is reprehensible, and the response of the officer that, oh, he's away from his family and basically he's frustrated, is a red flag. He needs counseling, he needs help. More importantly, he needs discipline, because if this type of behavior is countenanced by the police top brass, then we are in trouble as a nation.
Speaking out on the issue today for the first time since the weekend, Campo Williams says the situation shown in the video is not the whole story, and the public must allow for an investigation to be carried out before condemning the officer in question.
I am not going to condone the issue of the pistol whipping, because the truth is the weapon could have gone off and the result could have been different. But we have to look at the situation in its totality. It's not like the sergeant just went and picked on someone for no reason and just beat him up. There was a complaint made by 2 minors, and even though he was off duty, he responded to the cause of these 2 minors to try and apprehend the individual. And those persons who did the video recording, they know exactly what happened. But as usual, they splice the video and just release what needs to be released. Now, the 2 minors and their parents had gone to the San Pedro police station and have lodged a complaint. But the young man now, as much as the public is here crying out for him, he escaped, because when the officer went after the other to try to apprehend the other, he escaped. And from then to now, he has not even resurfaced. He has gone in hiding. So if it is that you know that you are so innocent, you have done nothing wrong, and you believe that the police have abused you, then why can't you come forward and make a complaint and make your case? But he has not done that. So that just goes to show that he knows exactly what he did, and he intends to continue hiding from the law. Again, you all can take the time, go to San Pedro, interview the people who live in the neighborhood where that young man lives, and you are going to get a true picture of the type of individual he is. Because people cry, well, the man innocent in this, that he's not an innocent person, and we have to be real.
To the leader of the opposition, Campo Williams says his stance on the matter is simply for political mileage.
I listened to the interview by the leader of the opposition yesterday, and what he failed to say to you is that he sits, wait for something which he believes is like a scrumptious meal, and the alacrity with which he prance on it to gain political mileage is alarming. And here comes the media feeding him with that scrumptiousness of that meal, and he gets that energy, that pour to say things. But he failed to say to you that when the UDP were in power and he needed security bodyguard, it was the same Devon Makin that used to bodyguard him. And up to now, even though he promised to pay the sergeant for the work he did, the sergeant have not yet been paid. Right? He promised the sergeant when he come into power, he's going to do this for him. No, he want to kill the sergeant. Come on, Shine Barrow, man. You have to be real. Professional Standard Branch is in the picture. They are investigating. Once the investigation is done, then we see how it goes from there.
The International Day of Cooperatives is celebrated on the first Saturday of July each year. This year, the event was officially observed on July 6th, marking the 30th International Day of Cooperatives as recognized by the United Nations and the 102nd by the International Cooperative Alliance. International Cooperatives Day is celebrated this year under the theme, Cooperatives Building a Better Future for All. This year's official events to celebrate the occasion was previously rescheduled due to the threat of Hurricane Barry last week. However, the Ministry of Agriculture, through the Cooperatives Department, continues its celebration to highlight the importance of cooperatives as a crucial part of our country's social and economic development. Today, the Registrar of Cooperatives, Gareth Murillo, was on our morning show, The Spirit of Belize, to share more about the cooperative movement in Belize, which now hosts over 80 members across the country.
At the moment, we are working with around 88 active cooperative enterprises. The cooperative is at its core a business model that is based on collective ownership, that is based on that it is user owned, it is user controlled. The members are the owners of the cooperative, and so they are regarded as entrepreneurs, and the cooperatives are indeed enterprises. We have been working with them in the past, to develop the entrepreneurial skills of the member owners, and here those 88 cooperatives exist across the industry spectrum. We sit, yes, under the Ministry of Agriculture, but we also oversee and we regulate cooperatives that operate outside of the agriculture sector. For example, we have cooperatives that are engaged in transportation. We have taxi cooperatives. There is a bus owners cooperatives. There is a proposed second bus owner cooperative being established right there in Orangewa. We work with cooperatives who are engaged in tourism. We work with cooperatives who are engaged in arts and craft. We work with cooperatives who are engaged in fishing. And so, as I said, while we sit under the Ministry of Agriculture, we cover the gamut of the industry spectrum in terms of regulating and overseeing cooperative enterprises. These cooperative enterprises, of course, they have what we believe is an important role to play when it comes to socio-economic development. They allow many marginalized persons to be owners in an enterprise where they might not singularly have the resources to establish an enterprise. It allows them to partner with others who are of similar interests, similar ambitions. They come together and they can establish an enterprise which they own collectively. And so, that has an important role to play when it comes to social and economic development.
The cooperative movement in Belize hosts a large array of sectors in our communities, including agriculture, tourism, and even art. Forming a cooperative, according to Murillo, has been formalized and includes a series of guidelines which groups must follow.
We have published a guide or a manual with regards to starting a cooperative. Typically, there is a legal requirement that there is a minimum number of 10 persons. Of course, it has to start with that 10. With that 10, there is no limit then on how many members can be in a cooperative. But once you start there, we at the department, we then would work, we then would work with you. Of course, we have found that the best cooperatives are those who we would regard as organic or what you could say are self-started. Okay. Those who come about after they have determined on their own that there are some advantages to be gained from organizing.
And while the movement has grown significantly in recent years here in Belize, the model is not without its challenges, according to Murillo.
Well, let me start with the COPs. The challenges they face is that, what we see here in Belize is that many of our cooperatives, the membership tends to come from marginalized communities, and so there is always that challenge when it comes to management and operational skills, management and administration. Of course, there is always the issue of access to capital. Being small producers, they are limited in what they can invest. They are limited in what they can put forward as equity, which is in terms of the owner's investment.
The goal, however, is to reach international standards as it relates to the cooperative movement, which is globally moving at a fast pace.
I would have to say that we are still, we have not exploited the model, the cooperative model, to its full potential here in Belize. When you look at certain global statistics, and I encourage you as a media house and your viewers to look at a publication called the World Cooperative Monitor. I think if you Google that, it will come up. You will see some data when it comes to global cooperatives, and you will see there that there are more than 300 million cooperatives across the world, with more than 1 billion members.
Coming up next, a story of hope and of a community going the extra mile to assist someone in need. Stay tuned.
On July 26th, the world's eyes turned to Paris to watch the 2024 Olympics Games. Get ready to cheer on your nation. Experience the biggest moments wherever you are on Express Plus app.
Snackers chips are more than just a snack. They're a proud product of Belize. Sourced from corn grown in Cayo's lush valleys, then crafted with care and packaged to perfection by Belizeans. When you choose Snackers, you're choosing the taste of home and flavors you'll love. Snackers, done right, done here.
The percentage of Belizeans living in poverty reduced by at least 10% between 2021 and 2023, according to the information made available online by the Statistical Institute of Belize. But there is no doubt that the cost of living remains high in Belize, despite government's intervention to reduce the impacts of global inflation. The situation makes it difficult for low-income families to build a new home or even make the one they have more livable. That is the case of at least one family in the village of Shaibe in Corozal who found themselves in need of urgent assistance to repair their dilapidated home. Another resident of the village came to their aid, but the family remained in dire need of financial aid to complete their humble abode. Elmer Cornejo reports.
With the inflation, the purchasing of construction material has become expensive in Belize and even on other parts of the globe. Here in the Jewel, many Belizean families live in low-income built houses, some of which are already falling apart and need urgent repair. But building a new home and even renovation is costly and not everyone can afford it. A few months ago, a lady with cab found herself standing at that same crossroad. She lives in Shaibe village in the Corozal district, and ever since her husband was declared medically unfit, the family began experiencing financial problems. But just when Wicab was about to lose hope, Fanny Tun, also of Shaibe, paid her a visit, learned about her situation, and extended a helping hand.
Bueno, ahorita tiene 4 a 5 años que sí, mi esposo cayó gravemente, lo tenía entre la vida y la muerte y de eso que pues se recuperó y todo, pues me dijeron que él ya no está disponible para sostener mi familia. Y pues de eso, pues con lo poquito que en él se hace y todo, pues con él puedo lograr sostener mi familia. Pues eso es lo que lleva a mi familia y ahorita como puede ver, pues estamos viendo pues cómo lo hacemos, cómo salir adelante y todo.
¿Cuántos hijos tienen?
Yo, por total, tengo 6.
Okay. ¿Algún mayor de edad?
Tengo uno de 17 y los balances, tengo uno de 17, uno de 15 y los balances están menores. Pues entre conversación y conversación, pues dio el caso que estaba yo conversando con Miss Fanny y pues ella me preguntó cómo me está yendo. Pues yo le dije pues entre un poco bien, un poco mal y ella me preguntó por qué. Yo le empecé a comentar, le empecé a explicar la situación de mi casa y ella me dice pues, Miss Aleida, pues voy a ver qué podemos ver y ayudarla en cómo podemos hacerle uno. Y pues gracias a Dios me está ayudando, no digo que no, me está ayudando poquito a poco, pero ahí vamos.
Veo que su casita se ve algo viejito. ¿Entra agua adentro?
Entra.
Arriba del roof.
Sí, entra agua, se me moja mayormente donde están los cuartos, la sala, entra agua. Pues como ver ahorita ya medio tapamos con la misma lona que está viejo, pero siempre nos entra agua. Con estas lluvias pues tenemos que ver y como para dormir y todo porque sí nos entra agua.
While the family sought assistance from the Corozal North area rep, that aid never made it to her doorsteps.
Pues legalmente no, para nada. No sé nada de él, no han venido pues tan siquiera a verme cómo está o necesita ayuda, nada.
¿Algún mensaje que le quiera decir a otras personas tal vez que estarán viendo el noticiero?
Bueno, pues yo quisiera decirles que si ellos me pueden ayudar, pues se los agradecería mucho porque sí lo necesito en realidad, sí lo necesito.
With Fanny Tun's assistance, the house is now under construction, but more financing is needed for the construction to be completed.
Es el plan que tenemos para terminar la casita, pues apenas lo estamos empezando. Es pedirle ayuda a la gente allá afuera, especialmente a mi aldea de Shaibe, porque somos vecinos y entre ambos nos ayudamos. Hoy por Miss Aleida, mañana no sabemos por quién. Les estoy pidiendo que por favor asistan, ayudan. Hay muchos albañiles acá en nuestra aldea. Si nos pudieran regalar aunque un día de trabajo, se los vamos a agradecer. Si pudieran venir con un bloque, un cemento, lo que nazca de su corazón, se lo pueden traer acá a Miss Aleida y nosotros se los agradecemos. Pues como miran, este mal tiempo viene y así como ella, acá en mi aldea hay más gente necesitados y pues vamos a ver cómo ayudarnos a ambos.
And for Wicab, to be able to keep her 6 children and husband safe and dry, especially during what is considered an active hurricane season, she needs your assistance.
Yo quisiera decirles que si ellos me pueden ayudar, pues se los agradecería mucho porque sí lo necesito en realidad, sí lo necesito.
If you would like to assist the Wukab family in building their new home, you can reach out to Fanny Tun at telephone number 630-1525. That number is also available to receive WhatsApp messages. Elmer Cornejo, Ctv3 News.
On Tuesday, the leader of the opposition, Shine Barrow, hosted a press briefing to address issues which his party considers of national importance. During Monday's conference, Barrow criticized the government for the increase in the cost of living. From his reports, Barrow says the cost of many vegetables are currently more than 30% higher, while certain meats have experienced up to a 50% increase in recent times.
The cost of living, you go to the price of rice, beans, sweet pepper, onion. The statistics I have here, more than 50%. Price of chicken, beef, pork, and other meats by 30%. Even for your salad, potato is $3.50 a pound. Mayonnaise, what used to be $4.90, is now $10.
In recent weeks, there have been several reports in other parts of the country about accidents caused by livestock animals or even horses which wander onto the highway. These accidents are usually pretty severe, with major damages to vehicles and even injuries caused to drivers. Here in the Orange Walk district, similar cases have traditionally been reported in the area of Carmelita and Guinea Grass. Today, the Commissioner of Police, Chester Williams, issued a warning to owners of large animals who leave them near the highways. The compo says that these actions may be criminal offenses and owners can be charged in the event of accidents.
I would just appeal to the owners of these animals to do the best they can to keep them off the highways. Sometimes they tend to tie them on the highway, on the edge of the highway, and then the animal end up getting loose and then just venture onto the road. That is extremely dangerous. So it has to start with the owners of these animals. But again, if it is that we were to establish who the owners of the animal is, I think that there is a way that we'll be able to bring charges against the owner of those animals, because they have a legal responsibility of ensuring that the animals remain safe and do not pose a danger to other persons. So I am sure that there is something that we'll be able to do if we can establish who the owner of the animal is.
And there is more news after the break. Stay tuned.
Experience the iconic tournament of Copa America.
Messi puts it in.
Witness each goal of the Euro Cup. And live the excitement of the CONCACAF games.
On target, and it's in. It's in the back of the net. It's a stoppage time.
Available only on Centaur's Express Plus app. Call 380-101 and sign up today. Express Plus app, streaming entertainment.
A mother is tonight in need of your financial assistance in order for her 5-year-old daughter to be able to get the medical attention she urgently needs. Anna Cobb and her daughter, Mariani Cobarrubia, were involved in a road traffic accident on November 8, 2021. It resulted in Anna Cobb being hospitalized and Mariani undergoing surgery. Both survived, but Mariani is unable to walk as a result of the accident. While therapy can help, the family is cash-strapped. Elmer Cornejo tells us how we can assist in the following story.
This is Anna Cobb and her 5-year-old baby girl, Mariani Covarrubia. They spend each day together under the plum tree in front of their humble home in the village of Louisville. Mariani is unable to walk. Her spine was damaged during a horrible traffic accident that occurred on November 8, 2021, while their driver was under the influence of alcohol. Anna had to be hospitalized for months, while Mariani's feet would not gain the strength needed to sustain her to her feet. Hope was almost extinguished until Anna was told about a medical doctor that can help Mariani walk again.
Nosotros estábamos viniendo de Corozal, fuimos a sacar unos papeles, pero la persona que fue conmigo es mi cuñada, la fleté a ella para que me llevara, pero creo que ella estaba tomando y pues ella rebasó y veníamos y yo le dije que no rebase porque ella tenía alcohol y pues ella rebasó siempre. Le dije, pues yo tengo a mi hija aquí, le digo, no lo hagas, le dije, enfrente de ella. Le pedí 2 veces que no lo hiciera. Y ella no se dejó llevar y pues fue que cuando pasó el accidente yo la tenía abrazada así, duro, porque yo ya tenía el temor de que pues algo pasaría. Y cuando yo la apreté, fue que cuando yo le apreté le lastimé este hueso que está acá. Y pues por esa condición pues es que ella ya no puede caminar. Pues nos fuimos al hospital, ella quedó inconsciente y pues la retiraron porque ella no tenía nada el otro día, pero no nos hubiéramos dado cuenta que pues ella ya no iba a caminar más. Pensamos que ya la retiraron, va a estar bien, pero de ahí pocos meses, pues yo estaba internada casi como 2 a 3 meses en el hospital sin saber de ella. Solo mi esposo pues la atendía con mis hermanas. Al día siguiente, pues a la vez cuando yo bajé aquí, nadie me decía nada, solo me decían que está bien, pero después cuando yo salí del hospital, yo no la miré bien, ella se le inflaba su estómago grande, y la llevamos otra vuelta, le dije a mi esposo, vamos a movernos porque ella no está bien. Pues le ponían sonda, todo, él se quedaba con ella porque yo no podía mover, yo quiebré una mano, quiebré una rodilla, 3 costillas. Y me operaron acá para sacarme la sangre de mi pulmón porque yo casi me muero. Gracias a Dios, pues acá estoy.
Mariani, who was 3 years old at the time of the incident, suffered alterations in the spinal medulla, which has caused her condition. The family suffered economic shock, and since then, Anna tried even the impossible in order for her child to receive further medical attention.
Y siempre no me dejaba, aunque quebrado mi mano, la gente veía que yo trabajaba, hacía live. Pues la gente me apoyó bastante, pero ahorita pues por el mismo caso, gracias a Dios acá estamos con mi hija, pero iba mucho con doctores, me decían pues con gringos, bajaban los de Rotary, todos me daban respuestas que pues ya no va a caminar más ya, pero ya va 3 años y yo me di por vencida y dije pues ya no puedo hacer nada más, ya me voy a dedicar mejor a cuidarla. Pero de ahí una amiga me llamó ayer y me dice, no pierdas las esperanzas, ¿sabes? Me dice, hay un doctor que aquí en Arcángel, dice, ayuda a los niños a darle terapia. Anda a verlo, me dice. Pero a veces no muevo porque no tenemos el dinero para poder ayudar a ella. Quisiera yo hacer más, pero a veces me doy por vencida que ya no puedo más. Pero ayer que fuimos, el doctor me dio una respuesta que me dijo que 60% que la niña va a caminar. Él me dio los 60 y eso me llenó de orgullo y me dio fe, más fe, para yo poder luchar ahorita con ella.
Now that Mariani was able to see a doctor, she was told there is a 60% probability that she will be able to walk again if she obtains therapy immediately. The news has been well received by the family, and even more so when the doctor pledged to provide 3 months of free therapy to his new patient. But the family still needs financial assistance in order for Mariani to begin therapy as early as Monday. Cobb explains.
Pero de aquí a viernes me están pidiendo pues aunque la mitad para que comience sus terapias ella. ¿Serían cuánto? Que serían $2,000 650, creo, por 3 meses, y el doctor me está regalando 3 meses de gratis. Me dijo, si tú pagas ese, te vamos a dar una promoción de 3 meses gratis para tu hija. Pues yo pido ayuda, aunque sea un granito, para que, pues, yo la quiero ver caminar. Ella me pide todos los días, mami, yo quiero caminar como los otros niños. Me parte el corazón porque es algo que yo quisiera darle mis pies a ella para que caminara y yo quedarme en esa silla. Ella me dice, mamita, yo soñé a Diosito, me dice, me tocó mi cabeza, yo voy a caminar, mamita, no te des por vencida, ten fe, me dice. Ella es la que me dice a mí, pues que tenga fe, y pues eso me motiva más y más verla que ella se pone, no es dejada, se esfuerza, ella pide para que le hagamos, la sobemos, que ella cree mucho en Dios.
Mariani is a warrior, and as such, she says she won't give up because of her faith. ¿Quieres ir a la escuela?
Sí.
¿Sí? ¿Qué te gusta hacer durante el día aquí en tu casa?
No sé ABCD.
¿O te gusta hacer tu ABCD?
Sí.
¿Quieres mucho a tu mami?
Sí.
Tu mami dice que quieres caminar. ¿Quieres volver a caminar?
Sí.
Dígale a la gente que te ayude.
Quiero que Diosito me ayude y porque yo camine y juegue con mis amiguitas.
The family can be reached at phone number 662-7486. Elmer Cornejo, Ctv3 News.
There will be a special sitting of the House of Representatives tomorrow, Thursday, July 11th, and it seems only one bill will be introduced. That bill is the Millennium Challenge Account Belize Authority Bill 2024, which seeks to establish a Millennium Challenge Account Belize Authority with the objective to implement 2 projects which are aimed at reducing poverty and promoting sustainable economic growth in Belize, respectively, and to provide for matters connected therewith or incidental thereto. This follows from the approval in June by the Millennium Challenge Corporation Board of Directors of a 5-year, $125 million grant investment in energy and education in Belize. Prime Minister and Minister of Finance John Briceño said back in June to reporters that about 80% of the funds will be invested in education, specifically connecting education of the younger population with the country's growing needs. This would include teacher training. For context, here is a portion of that interview.
Early September, we're going to have the signing ceremony. $125 million, which is 250 million. And it's significant because 80% of that is going to be invested in education. And some of the things that they've been looking at is to see how we can connect education directly with the needs of the country as it's growing. So it's not just about churning out students on the school, but to ensure that they can be able to participate in the economy of the future. So we're looking at that, looking at teacher training. So it's a very exciting time for Belize, and the same thing with energy. They want to participate in the government to look at how we could implement new and innovative laws, help us in acquiring the battery bank that we want to get to be able to store a lot of energy that we could use when there's no sun. So there's a lot of things that are going on, and I'm very grateful to the Millennium Challenge Corporation and their board, Ms. Albright, who is the chairperson, and then also, of course, to the United States government, to the Congress for approving this, to the U.S. Embassy here, who are the ones that initiated this move when seeing that we were living up to these challenges, having a free society, growing the economy, creating opportunities for people, stamping out corruption. So this is a part of that work, and we are grateful that they have recognized the work that we're doing.
In the area of energy, the Prime Minister indicated that there is interest in implementing and developing new energy-related legislation But one critical project expected to be funded with MCC money is a $100 million battery bank, which the Prime Minister explained is a storage facility where BEL can store energy obtained in off-peak time from CFE, feed it into the national grid when needed, and keep prices stable. The new fund will presumably be kept separate from other government funds, including the Consolidated Revenue Fund. The Prime Minister expects a signing ceremony for the projects in early September. Today, the Ministry of Civil Aviation is hosting the 12th annual North American, Central American, and Caribbean Directors of Civil Aviation meeting. For the first time, approximately 100 dignitaries from across the Caribbean, North America, and Central America are gathered in Belize to share knowledge on the best practices for improving aviation security and facilitation. Prime Minister John Briceño delivered the opening remarks, sharing that 55% of Belize's GDP is from tourism and civil aviation is a key linkage sector. Discussions included aviation security to safeguard skies and air travel, solutions for the implementation of ICAO standards, and recommended practices and gender equality to ensure an inclusive sector. In addition, PM Briceño discussed sustainable aviation to reduce our environmental footprint and addressing challenges to improve connectivity and spur mutual development across our boundaries. And that's the news. We invite you to join us for another newscast on Thursday, July 11th here on Ctv3 and Fiesta FM 106.7. Remember that to read a text version of the news, you can visit our website at ctv3belizenews.com. You can also log on to our Facebook page for current stories at facebook.com/ctv3belizenews or our YouTube channel at Ctv3 News VZ. Remember to wash your hands and remain safe. From all of us here at Ctv3 News, thank you for watching and listening. Good night.